This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Big problems when it comes to the bipartisan infrastructure package. Looks like they just took out one of the biggest funding sources for it, which means that it could completely crumble before the Wednesday deadline to vote. Also, I'll play you a video clip from Republican Cassidy saying how the bill is not even written yet and they may not even have the vote by Wednesday. Also, I'll give you an important update on the IRS sending out more tax refunds for the unemployment tax break. Give you the latest on a fourth stimulus check, and I'll answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Hope you're having an excellent day. If you appreciate these fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below, and I'm giving out $200 to my subscribers, and I'll talk more about that later on. But first, Las Vegas follows LA's lead in recommending indoor mask requirements. So I mentioned the other day how Los Angeles is now requiring masks to be worn indoors. Now it looks like Las Vegas is doing the same thing, and the Biden Surgeon General backs localized mask mandates as Delta variant drives rise in COVID cases. So across California, not just Los Angeles, but a lot of other counties are now mandating masks to be worn again indoors. If you go to stores, restaurants, activities, let me know down in the comments below. Are we going to see a part 4 or 5, whatever it is at this point, where all the mask mandates and requirements are going to come back? Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. Next, let's talk about the big mess that is going on with this infrastructure package that seems to never get done. Months and months we've been waiting for some action to happen with a lot of stimulus provisions, and it's all tied to this infrastructure package. So Senate infrastructure bill drops IRS funding, raising pressure for new revenue. So the whole point was that they wanted, the Democrats wanted to throw more money at the IRS so the IRS could collect more money from wealthy people, and then that money, the extra tax money, would collect an additional $1 trillion, and that would pay for this package. Now that that's out the window, now they're all scrambling for things to happen. Here's a video clip explaining exactly what's going on.
Good morning, Joe. Well, infrastructure may be bipartisan, but the IRS is not. GOP Senator Rob Portman said over the weekend that enhanced IRS enforcement is getting dropped from that infrastructure package that's currently under negotiation between 11 Republicans and 11 Democrats. Now, this measure was supposed to raise a net $60 billion in revenue. That's roughly 10% of the cost of the $579 billion deal. So finding a way to plug this hole is now one of the final holdups. But beefing up the IRS has grown politically toxic over the past few weeks, with conservatives cringing at the idea of throwing money at tax collectors. Representative Jason Smith, the ranking Republican on the House Budget Committee, wrote this in an op-ed. Quote, arming agents with a mandate from the president to go after taxpayers will mean more audits, more paperwork, and more litigation for Main Street businesses and Americans who are simply trying to make ends meet. Democrats' defense, though, enforcement will be aimed at the wealthy through a combination of more audits and new reporting requirements to make it harder to hide income. The Treasury Department estimates that together they would raise $700 billion over the next decade and a whopping $1.6 trillion in the decade after that. So if that money is not used to pay for the bipartisan infrastructure plan, Joe, it'll still likely end up in the other bill that Democrats can pass all by themselves. Back over to you.
Not having a way to pay for this big $1.2 trillion infrastructure package is a big problem, because that's how the whole thing can get done. And it's not even written yet. So I'm going to give you more details on what's going on with that. We'll talk about fourth stimulus check, IRS tax refunds in a moment. But first, the way this is looking to Chuck Schumer, Senate Majority Leader for the Democrats, according to the White House, they say, we certainly trust the path. The White House expresses support for Schumer's aggressive infrastructure strategy. So according to Chuck Schumer, he's very confident. He thinks it's all going to happen by Wednesday. Everything's going to be great. But a lot of other people don't think this way. Especially the Republicans. They're not as confident as Chuck Schumer, especially since the bill has not even been written yet. So Bill Cassidy blasts Schumer, saying White House for rushing toward vote on infrastructure bill that hasn't been written yet. So the bill hasn't been written yet as of today, Monday, the 19th. We still haven't heard. Maybe it has been written, but hasn't been updated. They said that they were going to work remotely over the weekend, whatever that means, and write up this $1.2 trillion bill. Here is a video clip from Bill Cassidy talking more about how he can't vote on a bill that hasn't been written yet.
And joining us now from Louisiana is Republican Senator Bill Cassidy. Well, Senator, as David just mentioned, you have the Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, calling for a vote on Wednesday, a cloture vote to end the possibility of a filibuster on that infrastructure bill, which hasn't even been completed yet. Two questions. First of all, will you vote for cloture on Wednesday? And two, how confident are you that 10 Republicans will vote, which is the number you need, to block a filibuster?
How can I vote for cloture when the bill isn't written? Unless you want program failure, unless Senator Schumer doesn't want this to happen, you need a little bit more time to get it right. It can absolutely happen, but you need the pay-fors. Senator Barrasso spoke to that. If we get the pay-fors, we can pass this. That leads to the second issue. We need Senate leadership, Schumer, and the White House to work with us. Right now, I can frankly tell you that they've not. We're competing with their $3.5 trillion plan. They want everything reasonable on their side, not helping us. Again, we can pass this. We just don't need program failure.
Okay, I just want to lock this down before I move on to the $3.5 trillion. You're saying that if Chuck Schumer goes ahead and puts a cloture vote to cut off the possibility of filibuster on Wednesday, that it will fail?
I just don't know how you have a cloture vote when you don't have the bill written, when you don't have the pay-fors established. And so, if you will, he's asking us to vote on things that they've not cooperated on how we bring it about. So I have to kind of get my mind around how do we vote on something which is not yet written as we try and get it right. We can get it done, but if they refuse to cooperate on the pay-fors, it's not going to pass. They know that. And so, again, how do you vote for cloture on something which is not yet ready? I just don't know how to answer that question, Chris.
I feel like you can't make this stuff up. They're going to have a vote on Wednesday for a bill that is not even written yet. Talk about procrastination. It reminds me of my college days when I would write my paper the night before. But this is a big deal. These are people's lives at stake here because the bipartisan infrastructure package, although it's not going to directly affect a lot of Americans because it's mainly physical infrastructure, roads, bridges, broadband, water, things like that, but it's tied to the reconciliation package, which is going to have a lot of other stimulus provisions that can directly help people. Now, when it comes to the $3.5 trillion Democratic human infrastructure bill, the progressives are saying, I see this as a down payment. Progressives see room to get more out of budget package that is short of their goal. So progressives, including Bernie Sanders, wanted a $6 trillion package. This way it could have a lot more things in it. It could probably have things we haven't even heard of yet, but they're saying that this is just a down payment for more things to come in the future. So Representative Pramila Jayapal, who leads the caucus for progressives, I think over 100 Democrats actually in the House, said, I don't want people to think that if we do this package, we are done. Saying there are different ways to get a lower number, and if the lower number is because some programs are not for the full 10 years, but they are still universal benefits and they're long enough for that Americans could see that what they're getting, that is one thing versus just cutting something completely. So basically saying they want more out of this. What kind of things could they have in this, or what would they want in the future? Let's talk about a fourth stimulus check. That has been going around. Letters have been written. Has there been action taken? Well, if we look at the Change.org petition for the $2,000 per month for every American, it's currently at 2,651,000. Just got another few signatures right now. It's going up as we speak. So when it comes to this petition, it's showing that there are people still in support of a fourth stimulus check. But is it going to happen? Well, the second and third stimulus check, a lot of people are saying was too little, too late. When it comes to a fourth stimulus check, I don't think it should go out to the masses as it did before, because people who don't need a fourth stimulus check, it just goes right into their savings account and they may use it for a rainy day, compared to other people who this is like a survival check. This is money that goes directly to debt that they've been incurring throughout this whole pandemic to pay for utilities, to provide food for their family, to provide provide food for themselves, especially people who are on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, RRB, veterans, low-income people, I think should definitely get a fourth stimulus check. But is it going to happen? We're still waiting to see. A lot of support from the Senate has been shown. A lot of support from the House progressives has been shown. But it looks like a lot of their attention is just going towards this bipartisan infrastructure package. We haven't heard much lately on what's going on with a fourth stimulus check. Will it be recurring? Potentially. We still don't know. It's not a definite no, and it's not a definite yes yet, but I will keep you updated. The IRS is sending out more unemployment tax refund checks in July. So this is the $10,200 for everybody who did not pay or who overpaid on taxes, because that first $10,200 of unemployment money for 2021, or actually for 2020, was supposed to be tax-free. So some people are getting $1,000 checks, $2,000 checks. The IRS put out this important announcement the other day, how 4 million refunds are going for unemployment compensation overpayments. So it looks like July 14th is when direct deposits were sent. So if you were expecting this check, July 14th, you should have seen at least a pending deposit, and you should have gotten a direct deposit already. When it comes to paper checks, they were mailed out the 16th. So we've seen these paper checks being delayed too. So it could be 1 to 2 weeks of when you could expect to get that. And the average payment was $1,265. So be on the lookout for that. Let me know down in the comments below if you've received this check yet, or if you're still waiting for it. Next, I'm going to answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Mr. Glowcard says, can a bill collector or court order take the state or federal stimulus checks from the American people? It all depends on how it's written in the bill. So the first stimulus check was different than the second and third. With the first, bill collectors were allowed to take it. It was allowed for, like if you owed money for child support, some of those checks they were allowed to take it. Some credit card debt collectors were allowed to take it, some weren't. It really depends on the bill and which stimulus check and how they're going to do it for the future. Next question, Lionel Felix asks, how do I apply for universal basic income? I live in San Diego, California. So it all depends on the cities that are participating in the universal basic income programs, which is part of that Mayors for a Guaranteed Income program. So all those cities and counties, they're all going to have their own rules and laws and of how you can apply for that. But yeah, I think on the low end, it's $300 a month. On the high end, it's $1,000 a month for universal basic income. Candy Wilson asks, any news of Florida sending out stimulus checks to SSI, SSDI, VA people? If so, any date? So at this point, Florida is just doing, as of recent, $1,000 checks to teachers, $1,000 checks to first responders. Some counties were sending out $1,000 stimulus checks, such as I think Orange County and a few others. But as of now, it's not for all of Florida. Kendrick Daniels asks, will there be another stimulus check like the fourth in Louisiana? Haven't heard anything in Louisiana yet for a stimulus check. And then Ruby Mendoza, what about unemployment? Will there be reinstatement of federal unemployment extension? So in terms of that $300 per month or per week boost, for unemployment with the federal boost, it looks like that's not going to happen yet, or an extension. Haven't heard any mention of it. So it looks like once September 6th rolls around, it's not going to be extended after that, unless something really serious happens before September 6th, between now and September 6th, which with mask mandates coming back, cases on the rise, we don't know if something really big could happen where more aid is going to be needed for everybody. That is all the stimulus news I have for you today. To hopefully cheer you up a bit, here is my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Belle. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you the one thing that you should do. When a flower's already dead, don't water the dead flower. That means that when you have a friend and they don't want to be with your relationship, then find a new friend. I know it's hard, but you have to. Then you'll learn from them. So I got a friend, and they didn't want to be with me. So I couldn't help it, but I had to find a new friend better. So I did. So that's all I wanted to tell you for today. Bye, Isabella.
And a quick reminder, I'm giving out $200 checks to my subscribers. I'll have details to that down in the description below. Yesterday, we went to the beach again, and my wife went surfing. I didn't get any footage of her surfing this time, but this is a little clip or a little picture of her surfing a couple of years ago. She's a pretty good surfer, actually. Yeah, we just had fun. Me and the girls just hung out on the beach, met up with some friends too. The beach is our place. We just love the beach, and we live about 15 minutes away from there, so we're there all the time. Let me know, do you like the beach as well? If you want to check out any of my other videos, you could click this link up here or this link down over here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.